Well, you guys asked for it in the comment section. You wanted to see what's going on in Halton. We haven't done a Halton update in a while, so we're going to see if this is still valuable for our channel. We're going to give you the breakdown today of what's happening in Oakville, Burlington, Milton, and we're going to touch on Georgetown as well, showing you what's happening there over the last 30 days, comparing that to the month-over-month numbers as well as the year-over-year numbers. If I don't hit on a point that was what you were looking for today, just drop it in the comment section down below and I'll get you those data points. So let's get into the numbers here on what I'm seeing in the market in Halton. Because Halton is massive, we're going to quickly burn through some of these categories here. So we're going to get rid of the other municipalities and we'll start off with just the Burlington area. So we'll do Burlington, Milton, and Oakville. And then what we will do is we will take a little bit of a further look into Georgetown as well, because Georgetown is an area that we get a lot of people reaching out inquiring about. So let's start off in Burlington. We'll do the condo townhouses here. They are finding themselves at $745. Last year, they're only slight difference between them here at $751 in that same month, but the prior year to date there's a bigger gap. It's a 10% drop off from the same time frame and the same numbers. 56 days on market is pretty big compared to the 17. Quite a big difference from the same month last year. So we're seeing less buyers in this category that are acting fast. That's really what I'm seeing when I'm looking at the numbers here. And then comparing the true numbers from year to date versus the prior, 59 is still a big jump. It's almost double the amount of time to sell a unit. Burlington, we'll do condos. We're not going to separate them here, but the average condo in Burlington's at $577. Same month last year, $601. So we're down a bit. We're seeing that there's a big gap. The average list is $100,000 more than the average sale price. That's interesting to see. And then we have a drop off in transactions, 22 to 33. Year to date, we're down big, like 49% is massive. Transaction volume is just dropping right off. Year to date on these condos, 637 last year and 632. So we're finding ourselves a little bit less than what we saw last year. The average days on market here are still increased at the tune of 63 days on market. And transactions, we had 73 same time last year, and then we had 37 up to this point. So that's a really big drop off. Townhouses in Burlington are going to be a lot more affordable than what we've seen in some of the other areas here, and that is going to be reflected right here. You're going to see $894. That's come down a lot from $950. Now keep in mind, these are freehold. There's no fees here at all. So you're talking a couple $100,000 difference for a freehold from Toronto. 12 deals compared to 14 last year. But if we're really looking at the numbers, prior year to date, we are down to 870 from 936. And then some of the big things that we really want to consider here is how long is it taking to sell? Of course, we've got 64 days on market. Last year was only 28 was the average. And then the sellers here, they are tending to do the same thing that we saw in Toronto, have that average list price lower than the sale price. And last year, we had the same similar thing happening, right? So this is a category where you might find yourself in more bidding wars than other categories, which is always interesting, and you want to know that going into things and prepare yourself. Now, when it comes to the semi-detached category, they're actually cheaper because Burlington has a lot of older semi-detached homes. They may not be as desirable, and we have a very small sample size here that we're dealing with. Year to date, we're looking at, a drop off of over $100,000 from 968 to 847. So pretty significant drop off between the two. But we're also seeing that it's 11 days longer to sell one of these here. And then it's over $200,000 difference between the list versus the sale price. In the month of February 2026, last year, we had the opposite going on. We had that bidding war still happening. So semis, different story that they are giving us and how they are actually selling right now. And detached, we have a lot of people just choosing to go Burlington for detached because you're bordering Oakville, you're on the water, you're going to get better value, and you're still in a really nice neighborhood a lot of the time. So detached in the Burlington area, making sure we're there. All right, detached in the Burlington area on 66 deals, we're finding ourselves here at 1458. Last year, we were actually lower on more transactions, very similar. But if we're looking at the year-to-date numbers, keeping in mind that we are further along than February. 1455 comparing, it's only dropped about $50,000, so that's not bad in the grand scheme of things. Transactions are down about 9 deals here, and then the amount of listings that are hitting the market, we have 50 less units that have hit the market to the same point, taking just as long to sell a detached as it is a semi or even a condo townhouse. So detached homes are not necessarily taking longer to sell, even though the pricing is significantly higher, which means that there's a pretty reasonable demand for this type of home if it's priced properly in the Burlington area. So let's take a peek at our next area in Halton, and what that area is going to be the Milton area. So for us who are interested, or for those rather who are interested in Milton, we'll start off in the detached category. Right out the gate, you're going to see almost a $300,000 drop for a detached home. And then last year, same month, numbers are almost spot on. Look at the year to date. Milton is holding pretty steady. We do have more deals than last year at the same point. We have only a $2,000 difference in the average price, and the transactions are actually higher. And then what we're seeing here is the new listings volume is pretty significantly different. 34% less transactions, or less units have hit the market, meaning that some of it's getting swallowed up, and then you might find yourself in a little bit more competition than you would have otherwise found yourself. 35 days to actually get one of these sold. And the gap here, so if you're looking to offer on a property in Milton, this gap is important to know. 1.4 is the average list, average sale 1.2. So there's a gap here of $200,000 for you to play around with. Now, not every property is going to see a $200,000 drop, but it's something for you to really understand. It's not absurd for you to offer a couple $100,000 less if the property warrants it, and your agent should be able to tell you if it does in fact warrant $200,000 less. Now we've got $952,000 as the average for the semis on 6 transactions. That's a $70,000 difference from last year on one different transaction. But if we're looking at the year to date, we're still down about $60,000 here, and we're lagging 28% of transactions. We have 6 less deals. 38 new listings have hit the market compared to 47, so a little bit less. And then we're seeing that gap here. So we're seeing over list, just over list is what we're looking at here. So once again, semis, Milton, bidding war, very possible because the way this is set up. Look at the average days on market. This is going to reflect that bidding wars are in fact happening. We're seeing 13 days as the average. So things are selling fairly quickly. And then last month it was 38. So people are trying to do the bidding situation is my guess. And this is exactly what you need to know. 66.7% of these are selling above list price. Tells you the whole story right there. So your agent should be able to give you all this data. If they don't know how to find it, that's a whole different story. But let's look at the townhouses and see what's going on. These are the no-fee freehold townhouses in Milton. We're going to find ourselves, I think, in the 8s, but let's see where we're at. 831, 25 transactions last year at 901. So we've slipped significantly here, $70,000 plus dollars. And then we are not encountering that bidding war as often. Great, good to see. And these townhouses are, I think, pretty desirable for a lot of people. If you can get a true freehold with no fees, where you just walk into your main level instead of head up a flight of stairs, those are the ones I'd be targeting personally. But comparing to last year, 838 to the 907, and then we're looking at transactions just quite a bit different here. 32%, 48 to 71, and then they are selling in just under a month. Now there's not a lot of condos in Milton, but let's see if there's any data for us to take a look. Let's take a peek and see what we can get here. We got a few transactions. So we're seeing the average condo in Milton sell $20,000 less than asking on 6 transactions. The odd one is going above list. You're always going to see the odd one doing that. We're seeing 46 days on market, and then your year to date is actually 56 days, and then the 45 same time or year to date for last year. So we're up on days on market. Pricing, we're down on the list price 10% and down on the sale price. Look at that, $120,000 difference between year over year. That's a pretty big jump down. If you have your condo in Milton, you're trying to sell it, that's a real challenge to see that type of number. Now let's take a peek at the condo townhouses and see if they're faring some of the same. 4 deals, not a ton. compared, well, we had 6 total this year, 9 last year at the same point. The percentages are going to be skewed heavily with these low numbers, but prices dropped to about 50 grand above list price. So 1 in 4 selling above list price, but you're still seeing here the average list is $50,000 or $60,000 over the average sale price. So there's some room to negotiate here. Okay, so let's take a look. We're gonna do Georgetown and then we'll finish it off with the Oakville area. Georgetown being interesting because we have a lot of people interested mostly in detached in Georgetown. So we're gonna look at that. If you want to learn more about what's going on in other areas in Georgetown, feel free, just comment down below. I'll send you a personal video. I'll show you the stats for other areas, but detached in Georgetown, and let me just verify that's where we're looking right now. Perfect. Georgetown, 20 deals this month, 20 deals last month. The average price significantly less than the previous month. So it was at 1131 and now 100,000 less. The average list being almost 1.2. So, you know, a 150 grand difference between the list and the sale price. Here, we are seeing very few of them actually going above list price, which makes sense. Detached homes are not, I'm not expecting that right now. If we want to look at the numbers from last year to this year, we're about $120,000 difference in that average price. Transactions very similar. And then that average list, this is nice to see, about $150,000 difference once again. Sellers they're getting close. I mean, we were 160,000 last year, but it's kind of right on par with the average list to average sale from last year. The days on market is peaked over a month, 33 days compared to the 26. So Georgetown, all in all, kind of what I expected to see, but let's take a look. Oakville, we know what we're going to get here. We're going to get some beefy prices, and we're going to start off with the detached. And yeah, we are looking at 1840 year to date, 1834 last month, 71 deals, a lot, but more deals than the January 2026. New listings, more than the previous month as well. We're going to see that sellers here are averaging on a list price at $3 million. So this is going to be super skewed because we might have had some just wild listing prices here. The median list price is a little bit more what we should look at this time around, and that's 1829. So selling pretty close. On the median side, it's 300,000 difference here. So we'll use the median this time around because this is way, way off base. But if we want to look there on the year to date, you know, it's pretty close on the median side, a few hundred grand, or sorry, you know, it's not that close actually. It's $300,000 comparing the median to median here. And then we've got almost $1 million difference between the list versus the sale. That is got to be skewed by some big properties that are listed there. And then it's taking about a month, just like it was last year on the detached side of things. Let's look, we're just going to look at the condos in Oakville as well. If you want any other data, you can always reach out, but I'll break down the 2 condo sections, the 1 and the 2 bedroom in Oakville. The 1 bedroom section that we're going to first take a look at here, we're going to notice that the average price for a 1 bedroom right now in Oakville is at $471. So not bad. Last year, we were finding ourselves at $490 in the same month, and year to date, $492 to $472. So we've come down about $20,000. Transactions are very similar. And then the average list price is actually on par with the average price. And then the median side of things, there's about a $35,000 difference. Days on market, we're almost on par, 45 and 46 days. So let's take a peek. 2 bedrooms, how much variance has there been here? We're going to notice, almost $200,000 prior year to date to today, and we have more deals that have actually taken place. The average list price at $758, that average sale price, about $100,000 difference if you like to look at the averages. If not, the medians are here for you as well. New listings, we've seen 156 to 211, so fairly sizable difference between the two. And then you're going to notice here, we've seen a jump up on 2 bedrooms, taking a bit longer, 31 to 45 days on market. So this has been a breakdown of what is going on in the Halton real estate market. We didn't touch every category in Halton because we wanted to make sure that we were not on here for 40 minutes. If you have a specific area that wasn't covered today, scan the barcode down below, shoot me an email, shoot me a text, and I'll give you a personalized video for the area that you would prefer to take a look at.